Hello, this presentation is going to introduce you to the course Medical Equipment Technology, which is an option you'll be choosing under the Electrical and Electronic Engineering program you are studying. And this will be done the second semester of your second year. Now, basically, what this presentation is going to do is to give you some understanding about what medical equipment technology means. It will also show you the various things you are going to study under the course. And lastly, it's also going to introduce you to certain job prospects that you engage in when you are done with this program. Now, when you talk about medical equipment technology, it is a subspecialty in the field of biomedical engineering. Now, biomedical engineering basically is the application of engineering principles in healthcare or the medical field. Now, medical equipment technology basically deals with the principle of operation, installation, repair, maintenance, and decommissioning of medical equipment. Now, I realize that when you go to most hospitals, we have technologists and engineers who deal with the hospital equipment. Basically, what they have to do is what? Repair these equipment when they are faulty. They surface them as the usual corrective and preventive maintenance procedures. They are also involved with the installation of this equipment, and then lastly they are involved with the decommissioning of this equipment, because at a certain time these equipments can no longer be used and they need to be taken out of operation, and this is what we call the decommission. And this is part of the medical equipment technology's work. Now, as a medical technologist, equipment technologist, you should be highly skilled and should ensure that all equipment in the facility in which you are working appropriately and not posing any risk to both the patient and the user. Now, the next thing we need to understand is what is a medical equipment. Now, I'm sure a number of us have visited these health facilities when we are not feeling well. And when you go there, the nurses use these medical equipment to check whether we are feeling well or not. For instance, a nurse can insert a thermometer into your armpit to see whether your temperature is alright. Another thing is to check your blood pressure, which they use the blood pressure monitors. Now, all these are medical equipment which are used to diagnose what you are suffering from. And so medical equipment is designed to aid in the diagnosis, monitoring, or treatment of medical conditions. Now, in the ancient times, we didn't have these medical equipments available. And so basically what physicians did was to just make diagnosis based on the symptoms of the patient. In this technological era, we don't just rely on symptoms to make diagnosis. Rather, we make use of these medical equipment. And so, for instance, your temperature can be checked. They will know that you have fever, and based on that, they can give the right prescription for you. These are some importance of medical equipment in the healthcare industry, and therefore medical equipment technologists and technologists are very important in the healthcare industry, although they don't come into direct contact with the patient, but they help in facilitating the treatment of the patient. Under the Medical Equipment Technology program, we have three modules. The first is Medical Equipment Technology 1, then Medical Equipment Technology 2, and Medical Equipment Technology 3. Now, under the Medical Equipment Technology 1, which you'll be doing in the second semester of your second year, we'll be studying human anatomy and physiology. Now, we all know these equipments are going to be used on the human being, and therefore a basic understanding of human anatomy and physiology is very important. Now, the next thing we'll be doing is biomechanics. Now, in biomechanics, we can see that it involves two words, that's biology and mechanics. And in biomechanics, we are going to study human movements, as in walking, running, and so forth. In this, we are going to apply the laws of physics and mechanics in the human being to help us understanding how movements and other motion come about. Now, the next thing we'll be doing is bioinstrumentation, where we pick up information from the human body, such as physiological information. So if, for instance, we can pick up how hot or warm a person which is the temperature, and how we will be able to interpret this information for it to be meaningful information for the physician or the doctor to make the right diagnosis. Now the next thing will be telemedicine and telehealth, where we'll be help understand the technologies involved in the treatment or diagnosis of patients remotely. So for instance, a doctor can be in one location, let's say Kolebu in Accra, and will be able to make diagnosis and treat a patient who is in the regional hospital here in Sunyani. Now, the next thing that will be done will be the medical equipment technology 2, which will be in the first semester of your third year. Under the medical equipment technology 2, we are going to study biomedical sensors. Now, these biomedical sensors are devices which we can use to pick out certain information from the human being, such as temperature, blood pressure, or certain chemicals. For instance, we all know the glucose monitor, which can be used to check someone's sugar level. So this is a biosensor or a biomedical sensor, which we can use for diagnosis. Now, the next thing we are going to talk about is biomaterials, which are materials we use in the manufacture of these medical equipment, and can also be used for the manufacture of certain human organs, which we call the artificial organs, which can be used to replace organs in a human being which is not functioning. Now, the next thing we'll be talking about is medical imaging, where we get to understand the principle of operation of these medical imaging devices that we have. So for instance, we are going to talk about imaging modalities such as the X-ray. We'll be talking about the ultrasound. We'll be talking about the MRI, and we'll also be talking about the CT scan. Now, in the last semester of our third year, that's when we are going to do the medical equipment technology 3, where we'll have the opportunity of having practical experience on the maintenance and repair of these medical equipment which are used in the hospitals. So for instance, we have the opportunity of diagnosing or troubleshooting equipment such as the blood pressure monitors, stethoscope, nebulizer, oxygen concentrators and oxygen cylinders, infant incubators, ultrasound machine, X-ray machine, and the suction machine, and others as well. Now, the last thing we'll be talking about is biomedical optics, where we'll use or get to understand how light is used in the diagnosis and treatment of diseases. Under this, we are going to talk about lasers, and we're also going to talk about phototherapy, which is a very common procedure used in the hospital. For instance, if a newborn baby is having jaundice, you realize that they put light on the baby and that problem is resolved, and this is an example of a phototherapy used in our hospitals. Now, I'm sure we'll all be interested in the job opportunities for us when we are done with this program. Now, the US Department of Labor states that there will be a 7% rise in job opportunities for medical equipment technologists or engineers. There are many job opportunities within the medical device industry, which includes the development, manufacturing, design, sales, marketing, servicing, and management of equipment. Now, most medical equipment technologies will be employed by hospitals, medical equipment manufacturing industries, teaching and research departments, rehabilitation or health charities, and regulatory agencies such as the Food and Drugs Administration. Thanks for your attention, and I hope this medical equipment technology program becomes an option for you to choose. Hope to see you. Bye.